Why do you support Trump?
I think so far through his presidency, he's done a lot of good things for the United States, and the way that he's dealing with the war currently is pretty good.
Okay, so you agree
If,
with him
if
going to war?
we're not necessarily at war, we've been helping them since like World War II, bro.
Okay, then why did Donald Trump call for the end of the war?
He didn't necessarily call for the end of the war. He just wants peace, and he
He did. He
bombed.
did. I
No,
can
he
show you
bombed.
a tweet of him calling for the end of the war from True Social.
Yeah, the war between them. It's not a world war.
No,
It's not
he's
a world war.
wait. Whether or not it's a world war doesn't change whether or not it's a war in of itself. And I'm just saying, Donald Trump, right? He's not only causing war, he's getting us involved in war, but he's not upholding his own main tenet of, what every Trump supporter was claiming: no new wars under Trump,
No, I'm
peace, world peace under Trump, world peace.
right. No new
We
wars.
won't go to war. I promise you.
This
A
war
vote
has
for Donald Trump means we are not going to war. A vote for Kamala
this
Harris means
war.
World War
Look,
III, means death, destruction, everything destroyed. I tell you, every single thing in this world will be destroyed if Kamala Harris is president. But if Donald Trump is president, we have world peace. I promise you.
I'm saying these wars have been going on before Trump, and
No,
the
this one was
Biden
caused by Trump. He literally
what
bombed
he
nuclear
no
enrichment sites
he
within Iran.
bombed them. He bombed them so that
Yes.
they can't use and create nuclear weapons on us or Israel.
Okay, well,
He's
that Israel's
trying to
been. Wait,
save
I
the
just want to
world,
clarify.
Parker.
He's trying to save the world, Parker. You know that.
Yes,
You know
he
that's the
is.
same well, I just want to clarify. That's the same justification neocons used throughout the entirety of the 2000s. Of they have weapons of mass destruction in the Middle East. We have to go in and we have to stop them from getting weapons of mass destruction. Okay, he's using the same set of justification that he disagreed with. He said that was wrong in 2016, and now you're running that same playbook right now. How the tables have turned.
Well, you can't just sit around and do nothing like Biden.
What do you mean do nothing? What are you talking about? You're
Like
advocate.
Biden,
Wait,
do
I have a
nothing.
question. You think that the U.S. should be involved in supporting Israel's literally offensive war with
No,
Iran,
no,
right?
we
But you
shouldn't have
don't.
gotten
But you
involved from
don't
the.
think the U.S. should be involved in defending Ukraine from Russia invading them when we have an agreement with them called the Budapest Memorandum, meaning that we would defend them if they gave up their nuclear weapons. It was a defense agreement to get them to give up their nuclear weapons, and we said that we would defend them in that context. And then now we're not doing it because Donald Trump pulled aid. But because he wants to then spend that money on offensive wars in the Middle East.
I mean, when our security is at risk, you got to do something.
What do you
Like
mean our
if they were,
security is at
hold on,
risk?
hold
What
on.
do you, how?
If Iran, hold on, if Iran
Iran.
were to get nuclear weapons, what are they going to do with them, Parker? What are they going to do with them?
You,
Death to America.
you don't know.
Yes,
Wait,
they're
by the
going
way,
to attempt
by
to
the way,
bomb us.
I want to clarify. I want to clarify. Just because they claim death to America within certain things, right? I think it's like something like the charter or something that you're referencing for like the government. All right, but
No, I'm
that
saying they've
hold
been
up.
saying that for
Let me
years.
address that. That doesn't mean specifically that they would drop a nuke. Do you think that they understand what's called as mutually assured destruction? That if you nuke another country that has nuclear weapons, you will get nuked as well. And if you destroy that, then you will get completely destroyed yourself. So everything you care about will be destroyed if it is the case that you bomb the other country.
I don't think they're concerned with that at this point, Iran, honestly.
Iran, yes, they are. Absolutely, they are.
The
You don't.
government is
Wait. Do you
corrupt.
think the
What
government
do you
in
think?
Iran wants power?
Of course.
How can they have power if their country's destroyed?
Wow.
You see what I mean? You just
Yeah.
immediately don't you just like don't even realize that they specifically want power. If they want to stay in power, they're not gonna drop nukes. Okay.
I mean, they're not expecting us to nuke
And
them
also, I
back.
just want to let you know we're in this position right now because Donald Trump pulled us out of the nuclear peace agreement that we had with Iran, that they specifically wouldn't develop nuclear weapons. We even had
He did.
a third party agency verifying that they weren't doing so, and they were completely upholding that until Donald Trump pulled us out of the deal. So Donald Trump is the reason right now why specifically we even have to do this in the first place under your perspective.
That still just goes right back to where we were before Trump even got into presidency, Parker.
What?
We like the Democrats put us here. What do you what do you
What?
mean?
I
All the way
no,
back
that's
to
just
all the way
actually that's
yes,
objectively
yes,
false.
yes,
That is objective. I just
yes.
explained to you how Donald Trump was the reason why we're here in this very first place because he pulled us out of the nuclear peace agreement. And you're like, no, it was actually
No, I'm
Democrats.
saying in the
No,
Middle
no,
East,
no,
we
no.
wouldn't
Okay,
have.
so if you think it's Democrats, please explain to me what did the Democrats do?
I'm saying all the way back to World War II.
What did the Democrats do? Oh, the World War II? Dude, the
Getting
reach is
involved in the Middle East.
diabolical.
Yes,
The reach
getting
is
involved in the
diabolical.
Middle East.
He
We
just
never
went back
had
80 years for that reach. He just went back 80 years for that reach. I can't even believe it.
It goes that far back. It goes that far back, brother.
Yo, Anthony, bro.
No, but we're talking about Democrats.
Anthony,
What do you mean
80 years
Democrats
ago.
from 80 years ago? What the hell are you talking about? How could you blame Kamala Harris for Democrats from 80 years ago even? What? That doesn't even make any sense.
I'm saying over time, maybe not that far back, but the past 20 years, maybe the past like 10, 20 years, bro, the Democrats have aligned us with the Middle East to continuously be helping them, funding them, all kinds of stuff, bro.
Okay, wait, I have a question then. What did they do?
What do you? I just told you they've been funding the Middle East to.
In what way? Like, can you give me what specifics you're
I mean,
referencing?
It's a good thing to, get rid of war, bring peace.
I'm asking, who are they funding?
They're funding like weaponry, obviously.
Okay, so then you disagree with United States weaponry being used on behalf of Israel to fight offensive wars in Iran.
I mean, no, not necessarily. I mean, I'm saying from the start, we should have never got involved. But now that we're in this situation,
okay.
we can't just sit around and do nothing.
Okay, I have a question. Then that same reasoning should also apply to Ukraine, right? No, that doesn't apply to Ukraine, does it? Oh, shucks. It doesn't apply to literally defending Ukraine from Russia invading them, but it applies to an offensive war on behalf of Israel. Interesting.
Okay, I'll agree with that. Maybe Trump could be doing something more about the situation with Putin. I mean, he's attempted to do some things, but
yeah, he gave Putin more power. That's what he did.
Not this. Putin's just doing whatever he wants to do, man. He's not even listening.
Yeah,
anymore.
because Donald Trump gave him more power and gave him the right to do that, whereas Biden was actually holding him to. Like, Donald Trump looks weak to Putin. Donald Trump is weak on Putin. How does that feel? That Donald Trump is weak.
More so Biden just doing nothing, so he's not really.
What do you mean Biden got the entirety of like the West to defend Ukraine from Russia? Ukraine is still a country today because of Biden. I'm not trolling.
Just one more question for me. So you think Trump bombing Iran was bad? You think it was
yes. Trump bombing Iran was bad. Yeah, that puts us at risk. That puts thousands of American soldiers at risk of dying. That puts innocent civilians at risk of dying within the region, right? That increases global tensions.
That is true, but we've been having casualties for years. I mean, not years. Yeah,
but
months.
More under Trump. Let's look at the casualties. 16 service members died in conflict under the Biden-Harris administration. Or under the Trump administration, it was 65. And of the 16 that happened under the Biden-Harris administration, some of them died because of people that were given back to the Taliban because of Donald Trump's deal with the Taliban that Biden had to follow through with.
I mean, but say they were to create those nuclear weapons and get to where they want to get Iran, and they cause something catastrophic to happen to America or Israel. Even furthermore,
do you agree that we're in this position right now because of Donald Trump? Not only in the war because of him, because of his plans specifically for like the bombing of nuclear enrichment facilities that are owned particularly by the Iranian government, but also in terms of the fact that he pulled out the nuclear peace agreement. You have to acknowledge this.
I acknowledge that.
Okay, well then if you acknowledge that, well then how do you support Donald Trump even though he's literally causing wars?
I'm saying that, like, say he didn't bomb them, correct? And then
okay.
No. But I'm saying, like, if he didn't, then they create the weapons, then they did something catastrophic to America and or Israel. Like, furthermore, Israel has been claiming that since the 90s. Again, no good evidence that they had nuclear weapons back then. Secondly, Donald Trump pulled us out of the nuclear peace agreement. If he actually cared about that, why did he do that? And then thirdly, in terms of this, right, why would they do that given that there's something considered as mutually assured destruction? That if they drop nuclear weapons on the United States, everything they care about will be destroyed. I mean, you have a point with that, but I mean, I think just Iran might be at the point where it's like, if we're going to take you down with us, they just don't really care at this point.
You have no good reason to believe that. That's ridiculous. Also, again, you already conceded.
Wow.
Listen. You already conceded that they want power, right? The people in the Iranian government. If they want power, how are they going to have power if it is the case their entire country is destroyed? They can't. They can't have power.
So mutually assured destruction is so genuinely effective because it is the case that it's a deterrence for war because they don't want their own country to be destroyed. Why do you think that there was never nukes dropped, right? Specifically on other powers that have nukes. Pumpkin, thank you for the $5. The U.S. is only considering dropping nukes on countries that don't have nukes. And then also, here's my next question, right? If North Korea was close to getting a nuclear weapon, would you agree with bombing North Korea?
I mean, repeat the question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if North Korea was close to getting a nuclear weapon, would you think it's justified to bomb North Korea?
I mean, if they were like, if they were speaking on the way that the Iranians were, like the government was for the past years been saying like, oh, U.S. better, warnings and this, that, and the third. We're gonna death to America.
I'm
Shit
just
like
asking, if North Korea was close to getting nuclear
that.
weapons, would you support bombing North Korea? Yes or no?
Not today, but
Wait, didn't we have this whole thing with North Korea that they wanted to like hurt the United States? And they threatened us, right? And then
yeah,
that's what
yeah.
Donald Trump was saying is this big, huge threat that we have to deal with, and that's why he wanted diplomacy with North Korea. Oh, if that's true, well then how is that any different?
It's not too much different.
Oh, okay,
but
then would you think it's justified to bomb North Korea?
well, not necessarily can't just go bombing everybody, bro. But
Yeah, yeah,
like,
look at him,
but
look at him.
we have a long history with the Iranians, not as much as
Iranians.
North Korea as much. I mean, man, you got me. All right.
It's a good point too. Like it's a good point. It's actually like genuinely demonstrates that Donald Trump's foreign policy here is unhinged. It's unhinged. It's so unhinged. All right, you can't even justify it. Dude, it's such bad foreign policy. You have older millennial making videos disagreeing with it. I'm serious. You have older millennial disagreeing with this. Okay. He made a video disagreeing with this. That's how you know this is such an unhinged position. If you have older millennial against you, holy, as Trump, you've got to think you're unhinged. That's diabolical.
I still feel like at the end of the day, if Trump didn't do anything and then Iran was to get nuclear weapons, then they did do something catastrophic. Still, in the end, everyone would be like, "Oh, Trump didn't do anything."
Actually, no. But also, again, we have no good reason they would do that. This is again the same claim of weapons of mass destruction. Do you really see it to be justified to like start war with Iran? And if you don't see it to be justified, well, then why is it the case that you support him even though he's starting wars that are increasing global tension? Even though he's destroying our relations with our allies, giving Putin more power.
I don't see it as starting a war though, because it's already something that was happening and had already conflicted before Trump even became president.
Okay, he authorized the bombing of nuclear enrichment facilities within Iran. That is him starting it.
Yeah, but just allowing them to have nuclear plants and trying to create weapons against us is just
okay. Well, then why did he pull out of the nuclear peace agreement?
In case something happens, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I mean, it's where we are now. Right?
What's preferable, like reducing sanctions on Iran and unfreezing some of their accounts, right, or going to war with them?
I don't know. I'd look at
You
it
don't
as,
know.
Wait. I see it as a good thing that those plants were bombed. That's how I look at it. That those don't exist anymore.
He wants to. Yeah. Again, they wouldn't have existed if Donald Trump never pulled out of the agreement. Good job, Donald Trump. You got us in this position in the first place. Now under your view, you have to risk literally global conflict and war just because Donald Trump pulled us out of the nuclear peace agreement for no fucking reason. Rachel, thank you for the $2. Thank you. Gen X is strong in the chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Kevin, thank you for the $20 in YouTube super chat. Thank you so much, Kevin.
I think our government is a lot less worried about getting attacked by Iran than we are.
So I understand that you think that they're not scared of it, but like that's going to lead to U.S. soldiers dying. It could lead to a broader conflict within the context of the region, right? And us spending trillions of dollars again. So like, dude, you don't know what you're with. You have no clue what you're talking about at all when it comes to this, and this is harming our ability to actually keep the world a safer place. You know that, right? Not only for the United States, but for everyone.
Anything isn't good. I mean, but
we would have had a nuclear peace agreement if Donald Trump didn't pull us out. Why did he do that? Like, you still don't know. Like, there's no explanation that you can give for that. Seriously. You can't say that you defend that.
What should he have done, in your opinion, then, with this?
He shouldn't have pulled out of the nuclear peace agreement. And then in terms of this specifically with Iran, right, I don't think that he should have gone to war with Iran. I don't think that he should have bombed them.
What is he going to do about them attacking Israel, though?
I don't think
he's got to do something.
I think that's this. I don't think the U.S. should be involved. Wait.
This ties back to already being involved in the Middle East.
I don't think we should be. I don't think we should go and be on fight on behalf of Israel. Like I don't know what the reason for that. All right, now you think that we should pull out of Ukraine? In terms of aid?
No, I think that was good. I think that was good to help Ukraine.
Okay. So then Donald Trump's not upholding that. So he decides not to uphold that, but then he decides to uphold Israel on their offensive wars? So we can't support Ukraine in a defensive conflict to save their country, but we can support Israel in offensive wars that they started.
No, I'm not saying he can't. No, he can support both. I'm just saying, like, we were already having to support them in the first place before Trump even had to deal with the situation. So Trump's coming into this like, all right, we already have ties with these people, and they are probably expecting help from us. So we're going to have to do something. You can't just do nothing.
Yeah, he didn't say that with Ukraine, so that's not a good justification at all. We had the Budapest Memorandum with Ukraine. He didn't say that. What did we have with Israel that committed us to like helping them in this conflict?
No, but what I'm saying is the war didn't end when Biden left presidency.
I'm asking what particular agreement do we have with Israel, right? Specifically to involve ourselves in this conflict. We don't have any agreement. The idea that we have such an agreement is just conspiracy theory, made up information that some MAGA supporters will use in order to justify them, being war hawks. This is literally something that you would be arguing against, right? Incredibly before. If I were to ask MAGA supporters this question before, if Donald Trump goes to war with Iran, if Donald Trump were to claim weapons of mass destruction in Iran as a reason to invade them, literally like a few years ago, you would have not supported him because of that reason. Literally a few years ago, if I would have asked you that question.
See, but that would have just been him randomly invading them and bombing them. Here's the thing.
Wait, what do you mean? That's what he's doing right now.
They're bombing Israel. I mean, I don't.
No, wait. I have a question.
Right.
Why are they bombing Israel?
Territory?
No, because Israel fucking bombed them, dude. Are you okay? Hello? Israel started it. Why are we specifically fighting on behalf of Israel's offensive wars when we can't even defend Ukraine in terms of saving their country from an insane maniac lunatic like Putin from invading and killing a bunch of people in Ukraine and ethnically cleansing the country? What are you talking about?
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like it's a double-edged sword, man. Like, it's two different wars where you kind of got to pick and choose your battles.
Donald Trump is worse on foreign policy. He's disastrous. There were people, a part of his administration, his first administration, that called him a laughing fool, a fascist, a threat to democracy, unfit to be president of the United States, and yet you still support him. You had a guy specifically saying that he put himself over the Constitution, who was his vice president, because he specifically, literally, called for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. Everything this country is based upon in terms of its fundamental values, the rule of law, our democratic values, right? Due process. These are things Donald Trump is undermining, our Constitution. Donald Trump undermines every single one of those things. Name a single fundamental value of the United States of America that Donald Trump has not undermined.
I mean, just are you going off when he was said that there was foul play with the 2020 election? Is that what you're going off of?
That's him undermining our 2020 election. Yeah, he thinks that he won the election. He
That
sent
was.
false slates of electors, the electoral college cast
Are you
Trump votes
talking?
when he didn't
You're
win to
talking
steal the
about that
election.
tweet, right? The tweet that.
No,
The
I'm not
tweet.
just talking. I'm not just talking about the termination of the Constitution. I'm also talking specifically about him setting false slates of electors to electoral college to cast Trump votes when he didn't win to try to steal the election, and him continually, even into the next election cycle, thinking that he won the election. He still thinks to this day that he won 2020. Okay, so name one fundamental value of America that Donald Trump has not undermined.
So I mean, you're saying with the election, that's like it's not that many. What are all the values that you're saying that he's undermined besides the election by trying to
And
throw the?
I will describe them. I think I already did. I will describe them again after you tell me one fundamental value that Donald Trump has not undermined, like fundamental value of America.
I mean, border policies. He's pretty strong on border policies.
I think that America was not founded on very strong border policies. A foundational element of America is not "quote unquote" strong border policy. For example, Ellis Island, people were able to get into the country within 3 to 7 hours. So I'm talking about something foundational to America. Like what I said in terms of the Constitution, the rule of law, our democratic process, right? Our due process. You know, those things are fundamental to what
Right.
America is. Immigration, you know, being a melting pot for the world, fundamental to what America is. Donald Trump has undermined every single one of those. So give me a single fundamental aspect of America in terms of what we are based upon, in terms of our country, that Donald Trump has not undermined.
I mean, freedom of speech.
Really? So I'll give you. You read that from the chat, and I knew that you were going to say that. And the reason why I've responded to this is very clear. He called not only for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even the Constitution, which would include the First Amendment, but he also said that he wants to put people in prison for a year for burning the American flag. He wants to revoke people's visas for disagreeing with certain foreign policy positions. Right? So
And
that's anti-free speech, 100%
I have
anti-free speech.
you have like something like that
Yeah.
to back that, or
Yeah.
like
Yeah, for example, Mahmoud Khalil was literally detained for multiple months, right, undermining his right to free speech just because he protested.
what does that have to do with Trump directly? That sounds like indirect freedom of speech.
That's due process rights specifically being undermined for I think it was over 3 months, right? For someone that wouldn't that's violating their First Amendment rights. Absolutely violating their First Amendment rights just for protesting.